This guy believed his brother had been killed 2 years ago, only to discover that the guy is very much alive and living his best life somewhere else and absolutely enjoying himself.
Things we do for blood.
Well, welcome to The Covenant, a Nollywood movie that finally answered our prayers and totally went straight to the point, only taking a short break to point out a geographical fact that
the forest is not the forest.
You're goddamn right.
So, the movie opens inside a military camp. Dead soldiers everywhere, just lying down and minding their dead business, when a mysterious woman in red casually appears like, "Oh yeah, Eji, wake up." Next thing, you realize it's a dream or a vision. The dreamer is Dagogo, a soldier who keeps seeing this woman in dreams, and sometimes even when he is awake. And anytime she appears, just know say, danger not too far again. Dagogo wakes everyone up, including his younger brother, Celestine, also known as Sting. Then, suddenly, militants attack the camp. There's chaos everywhere. Guns, shouting, smoke. Luckily, the lady in red leads them to safety. Except Sting falls behind and gets himself captured. Dagogo tries to chase after them, but an explosion knocks him out cold. Fast forward 2 years later, after searching and failing to find his brother, Dagogo slowly accepts the painful truth. Celestine is dead, killed in action, gone but never forgotten. In fact, now Celestine shows up in his dreams constantly. These two brothers were tight, very close. The only thing that ever caused problems between them was their mother, Stella. She abandoned them when they were kids. Celestine forgave her long ago, but Dagogo? Absolutely not. Even when she's dying of a serious illness. My man said, Mom, respectfully, you can perish. Celestine, however, planned to visit her after their camp rotation, which Dagogo strongly opposed. Anyway, he was woken up by a call from a reverend back in his hometown, and this call drops a bombshell. Celestine is alive. Not only alive, he was seen in the creeks deep inside the forest. Dagogo quickly contacts Patrick, his police friend, but the police say, "Oga, what gets it? Every force sent after those militants usually ends up slaughtered, and most missing persons later turn out to be militants themselves." Dagogo refuses to believe that Celestine joined them, so he packs his bags and heads straight to Niger Delta, back to his mother's house to begin his search for Celestine. Inside the house, a picture of a necklace hanging on the wall catches his eye. It looks familiar, very familiar, Seth. Oh yeah, let me tell you where you've seen it before. It's from your dreams, the same one from Our Lady in red. But does he connect the dots immediately? Of course not. Anyway, his mother was overjoyed to see him. She immediately started apologizing over and over, just like she had been doing for the past 10 years to him and Celestine. But you see this one, he was fully committed to hating her. Do you know this man calls his own mother by her name? Stella. See, them not born me where to call my mama by her first name. Zero respect. Oh well, to him, she was everything evil, a witch who sacrificed her own children for juju and abandoned them without blinking. In his head, that was the only reason Celestine kept running back to her after everything she did to them, because clearly he must be under her spell, and maybe, just maybe, she even knew he was still alive. But Mama didn't know Celestine was alive, and all this disrespect, well, she puts a stop to it, or at least she tried to. Ah boy, mind yourself, you can see. She tried and failed. But you just know Mama was dying of regret and wanted to reconcile with him at all costs. Now, let's go down to the creek we've heard so much about. The jungle is supposedly run by Scourge, but between you and I, it is actually Naomi who runs things here. She contracted Scourge for a small project. You know how they be now, to kill some people in the jungle. And as his slogan goes, with Scourge, everything is possible. He delivers. Only Naomi isn't fully satisfied though. The person when she wants make them off gone. This Madam Blaze, as body they sweet her, she carry her fire, burn the person face. So, how can she be sure the job was even done? I be the one whine her. Nevertheless, she paid him and walked away. But trust me, these two are now watching each other like hawks. Because Scourge wants to know exactly what Naomi is doing in his territory. And Naomi, she wants to know if he truly scammed her. Now, the next morning, this is where things start to look interesting. Dagogo wakes up in Celeste's room and finds what looks like a full pharmacy. Drugs everywhere, plus a timetable Celestine uses to give medications to Stella. Their mother. But one drug immediately caught his eye. And honestly, it caught mine too. Dactinomycin. You see this dactinomycin? Yes, it's a cancer drug. but it has this side effect where it weakens your bone marrow, the part of your body that makes blood cells. Now, if Stella already has bone marrow cancer, taking this drug is like trying to put out a fire by putting more fuel on it. You're damaging the exact thing that's already broken. Either her doctors are playing a very dangerous game trying to balance everything, or this whole I'm dying story is cap. And the way she dodged the question when Dagogo confronted her, yeah, something's not right here. The lies are loud. I mean, I could be wrong, but if you have a different opinion, let me know in the comments. Anyway, so later, Dagogo and Patrick begin questioning witnesses who claim to have seen Celestine with a dangerous militant girl called Havoc, and another claimed to have seen him at Naomi's beer parlor. So he storms Naomi's beer parlor. Dagogo and Naomi, well, let's just say there's history. They're old friends, but that's a long story. She denies knowing anything about Celestine, but under pressure, she admits Havoc met a strange woman at the bar 3 days earlier, matching the timeline. She at this point, the only solid lead Dagogo has is Havoc. 3 witnesses don't lie, but somehow his investigation magically switches to Blaze, Scourge's right-hand woman, whose entire personality is burning things. How did Blaze enter this matter? Nobody knows. Was she mentioned? But the writer said, you people will shall watch it like that. Anyway, they meet up with a snitch who knows Scourge's camp location. Apparently, if Blaze was involved somehow with Sting, then surely Scourge too, only for the snitch to be caught and killed by Naomi after leaving. Now pause. Let's address Naomi. Because what exactly is her problem? It turns out Madame belongs to a brotherhood, an ancient cult. Her father is the high priest, and her job is to protect the brotherhood's interest at all cost, and Scourge is helping her do that. So you see, and guess who else is a member? Stella. So let me break down this insane backstory. See, 25 years ago, Stella asked Naomi's father, Kalu, to invoke Our Lady in Red, the mysterious spiritual GPS woman, to protect her sons. But this wasn't just a simple prayer request. No. It required a sacrifice, specifically the life of a brotherhood member named Peter. And Stella, this woman didn't think twice. She straight up murdered the man in front of his daughter and staged it like a robbery. She took his gun, his wallet, and everything, and has been keeping those items to this day. Now, remember when I said Naomi's job was to protect the brotherhood's interest at all cost? So her father had a vision 3 nights ago about some dangerous people coming to steal the most powerful juju the brotherhood was protecting, a spear that has immortality powers. But for them to access where the spear was, they needed to make human blood sacrifice. And that night, a gang kidnapped some travelers. All this happened 3 nights ago, so keep that in mind. Now, there's this babe called Belema, and she's the one coming for the spear. She was meeting with Diablo and Havoc at Naomi's bar, just like Naomi had said earlier. As soon as Havoc and Diablo walked in, see the way customers scattered like cockroaches under light. And that exact moment was when that witness saw Sting waiting outside. So, that small human sacrifice that must be made, Belema had hired Diablo and Havoc to get the sacrificial lambs and wait for it. These guys outsourced it to that kidnapped gang while they would be her bouncer, her security. And as they waited for the kidnappers to arrive with the products, what is Sting doing? This man is here trying to toast Belema. But that paro, so, Havoc not too bad. So, she tells him to stop. Now, here's the gist. She's very cautious of him. And why? Because Sting only joined this madness to raise money for Stella's bone marrow surgery. Deep down, he still has morals, military training, and conscience. 3 things you absolutely do not want in a ritual sacrifice squad. And just then, the kidnappers arrive, and one of them recognizes Celestine. Celestine! This guy was his childhood friend from secondary school. What are the odds Nonso brings his brother who has a woman's name, Brother Ngozi? And this guy grabs Celestine by the shirt and even pulls out a gun, but he's just playing. He's the leader of the kidnap gang and now goes by Commander Stealth. Alright then, Brother Ngozi. Anyway, later in one corner, Nonso's mouth starts running and he spills all the gist about them needing the girls for ritual. And this is exactly the type of info Diablo and Havoc did not want Sting to hear, because once he hears, innocent people will die. Military morals will activate like software updates. After the kidnappers leave, everyone heads to the stone graves where the ritual will take place. Havoc immediately sidelines Sting to look out duty. She said, I don't trust you around the murder. Go stand over there. They drag one of the girls, Emanuela, and slit her throat, pouring her blood on the stones. If the ritual is done correctly, the stone should crack open and reveal the spear. But there's one rule For no reason should the ritual be interrupted, and guess what's about to happen? Just then, Sting's lookout partner notices shadows, enemy approaching. War is about to begin, but instead of raising the alarm like a normal person, Sting knocks him out. Even this Ogawe just a piece, then runs off with Kachi, the second hostage. When Havoc tries to stop him, he knocks her out too. The ritualists can't chase him because they can't interrupt the ritual. Havoc recovers and gets back on Sting's tail. He swiftly kills her 2 men, but then takes a bullet himself. And look at this person that he was trying to save. Kachi, she just goes, I'm so sorry, and runs away, leaving him to die. It will not be well with you, this girl. Next thing, Scourge and his men arrive, shooting at the ritualists. They kill everyone except Belema, who begs for her life, telling him the people she works for will pay any amount for her freedom. Auntie, you should have started with that. That's all Scourge needed to hear for Scourge to agree. She swaps clothes with the dead girl, then has Blaze burn off the dead girl's face. That's why Naomi, who sent them, was skeptical earlier. She couldn't verify if the actual bird's body was Belema or not. Back to Sting. He gets brought back from the dead by Our Lady in Red, no pun intended. Sting immediately charges toward Havoc, who has caught Kachi again. While he's fighting Havoc, guess what Kachi does? She runs away again. Anyway, Sting kills Havoc in the most satisfying way, and Kachi, she runs straight into Savage, Naomi's man, who kidnaps her, which explains why earlier we saw her tied up in Naomi's house.
Good riddance.
Now, back in the present day, Naomi interrogates Kachi about Sting's whereabouts, and this girl suddenly develops selective amnesia. Well, according to her, Sting was killed by Havoc, full stop, conveniently forgetting to mention the second time Sting saved her. Look, this girl, if Sting is dead according to you, who then killed Havoc? And where is Sting's body? Well, the truth is, Sting is dead, sort of. He's caught in that familiar realm between life and death. There he sees Our Lady in Red again, and she assures him that he is not dead. She tells him she's taking him somewhere he needs to be. And just then, his body washes up in the river, and some people rush to save him. Okay, so this raises an important question. What if the mystery lady didn't bring Sting back to life the first time? Which would mean Kachi was actually correct when she said he had died, and he only saved her the first time. But hear me out. I think Kachi is selectively forgetting things to save herself, because here's what I believe actually happened. The Lady in Red did bring Sting back to life. He took off his vest afterwards. He went to save Kachi. He killed Havoc. He struggled to find his way out of the forest. He collapsed from exhaustion. He got rescued by the river people. You're asking for my evidence? Check it. When we see him get rescued, he has no vest on because he took it off when he was resurrected. Oh shit. Now, guess what time it is? Flashback time. Let's go back. So you see this small girl, Abby. It turns out she's Belema, and to understand why she wants the spear so badly, we need to understand why her father got killed in the first place. So, Belema's mom had, wait for it, bone marrow cancer. Yup, and was dying. Pause, stop, and absolutely rewind this. What? Doesn't it seem a little too convenient that Belema's mom had bone marrow cancer, and Stella just happens to have the same thing? Is this woman out here plagiarizing illnesses? Did Stella hear this story and go, oh, that's a good one, let me use that for my fake dying act? Abby? Well, I'm just thinking out loud though. Anyway, moving on. Belema's father Peter and her mom's brother, a reverend, start looking for solutions when Peter reveals he has ties to the Brotherhood and there's a spear that can save his wife. The reverend says, say less, I'm in. Problem? This spear is buried in a stone grave deep inside the forest, and you need the Brotherhood's permission to retrieve it. And Peter already knows these people. They know they play with their spear. So, the reverend gives him a gun for protection. As expected, the Brotherhood says no, because to retrieve the spear, an innocent blood must be spilled. And the innocent blood they requested, it was Belema's, his own daughter. Peter obviously wasn't having it. Make I keep my picky. He refused to listen to reason and went as far as threatening Kalu before declaring he was out, quitting the Brotherhood altogether. And for that disrespect to the order, he paid the ultimate price with his life. Ever since then, Belema sought revenge on the masked person who killed her father. So, she teamed up, or more or less began working for a confraternity whose sole aim is to retrieve the spear to solve their immortality issues. So, it's a two stones, one bed kind of arrangement, really. She gets to use the spear for revenge, they get immortality. Everybody wins. Oh yeah, back to the present. After getting Scourge's address from the snitch, rest in peace to that, Dagogo storms his hideout in the middle of the night. Like he's in a Call of Duty mission. He sneakily passes this sleeping guy, kills this one, kills this other one too. He's on a rope, only to find out the only hostage there is Belema. The fuck? Belema, being the opportunist she is, lies to Dagogo. She tells him she knows where Sting is if he rescues her, and she would tell him everything. Dagogo, desperate to find his brother, agrees and ultimately rescues her. But as they are escaping, the guards on duty finally realize themselves. No, Onafo continue their sleep, and they go after them. They manage to lose them, but then Belema gets shot by Savage, Naomi's man, who's apparently everywhere. Turns out, they were right when they suspected Scourge had faked Belema's death. But now, Savage has finished the job and killed her. Case closed, Abi? Mbao. Of course she's not dead. The bullet only hit her shoulder, and Dagogo rushes her to the church, where a trained nurse, who is now a nun, helps treat her. Meanwhile, back at home, Mama Stella is not doing well. She's seeing things that aren't there, hallucinating hard. She's seeing young Belema coming for revenge, and in her paranoid state, she pulls out a gun and points it at her own son, Dagogo, who just walked through the door. Mama, you want Dilly the only son where you get? Calm down, no. Now, let's check on the other son, shall we? It turns out the people who found Sting by the river were Nonso and Brodango, the kidnappers, and it's been 4 days since they found him. But remember what the lady in red told him? She said she was taking him somewhere he needed to be. Remember this, because apparently it is very important. Now, Sting is out here telling these kidnappers a bunch of lies about how he managed to escape the shootout with Scourge. And get this, he also claims Havoc saved him. Hey, the same Havoc that he killed with his bare hands. Try. Anyway, at the same time, Auntie Belema is telling her own lies to Dagogo. She claims Sting saved her and that she tricked him into rescuing her and she didn't know where he was. Come on, give me this water, Joe. No more medicine for you. As soon as he leaves, the Reverend reveals himself to her as her uncle, Tony, as in, that's her mother's brother, Okeke. Isn't it a small world? But wait though, because shock not a finish. Scourge bounces into Naomi's bear parlor to request that she help him find Belema, the same girl he collected money from Naomi to kill, as if Naomi would just be looking at him. She threatened him small. Hey God, and that was when he dragged her and threatened back with a 24 hours ultimatum. As Scourge and his crew are leaving the bar, Dagogo runs into them and Blaze almost rips his head off, but Scourge stops her, casually saying that Dagogo is their customer, and it's at this moment Dagogo knows for certain that Naomi is in some serious shady business with Scourge, especially after hearing Scourge repeat his ultimatum before leaving. But how can he prove it? For all everyone knows, Scourge was just a happy customer leaving after a few drinks. Meanwhile, the people Belema works for want her back in the forest to resume the ritual. Small issue though, Diablo is presumed dead, and Havoc, we all know, is dead. Sting made sure of that. They were like, which kind of crow people did you hire, Seth? When you should have just hired Scourge to start with. And they want now that her relationship with the principal, which we now know is the Reverend, might not save her the next time she fails. Making good on his 24-hour threat, Scourge storms Naomi's bar, turning the place upside down, and as if that wasn't enough, Blaze attacks her home, sets it on fire, pure chaos everywhere. Somehow, everyone manages to escape, even Dagogo, who had been there to search for proof that Naomi was working with Scourge. But while others got out alive, Caleb didn't make it. Back to Belema, she contacts Brother Ngozi to request more girls for the ritual, which implies the only way she could have reached him was if Diablo is still alive. As they are discussing the details, wait, why Brother Ngo they look me like this now? Sure, they enter your eyes. It turns out, Brother Ngo mentioned that Sting survived the shootout, and for a triple of his fee, Belema asks him to kill Sting. But Sting already coded his body language. He takes Nonso hostage, grabs his gun, and goes full John Wick, wipes out all of them. Then he takes Brother Ngozi's phone and finds out it was Belema who put the heat out on him. Your plan didn't work, and oh girl, you just signed your death wish. But this girl, she's smart, so her brain they leak. So her genius plan is to go after his mom. So just as Sting wants to dash back home to save Stella, the lady in red appears again and basically says, oh, this right there, action hero. Apparently, the whole reason she brought him to the kidnappers' camp was so he could clear out the kidnappers and save the remaining hostages. Meanwhile, Dagogo brings Patrick to confront Belema using his police position. But just then, Dagogo gets a call from Sting. Sting warns him about Belema coming for Stella, and just then, the lady in red appears again. Madam, let's see what's up again now. Sorry, you show face. He recognizes the necklace around her neck. It's the same one from Stella's house. Ding ding ding. She leads him into a room and warns him, whatever you see here, blood must not touch your hands. Whether that was a metaphor or a literal instruction, Dagogo clearly didn't hear properly, because he walks in and sees the dead body of the nurse turned nun and starts touching her face. He runs back to the church and confronts Belema for killing the nun, but then he notices blood on the reverend's boots. Oh, it was you who killed the nun. Before he could process it, his eyes start rolling back like he's trying to see his brain. It turns out Patrick had spiked his water earlier. My man goes lights out. Make gonna come see who decide join us. Scourge, Agba freelancer himself. So they formally and fully hire him. And what does Patrick get in all this? They promised him a lot of money. Let's continue. There's more. You see that spear that they want to pour all the blood on it, on that stone to retrieve? Kalu reveals to Naomi that it only reveals the location of the spear, which is someplace else. Yeah, even Kalu doesn't know it. So wait though, all this murder and ritual was just to get GPS coordinates. Just then, Stella calls. Belema is on her way for revenge. Seconds later, they pull up. Now here's the tragic irony. Up until this moment, Belema did not know that Stella killed her father. She only came to use Stella as leverage to threaten her sons. But Stella, Mama goes, Ashwale, I killed your father. Namik Baya. Ha, Mama. She even adds that she should have killed Belema too that night. I have never seen someone beg to be shot with this much confidence before. Belema, of course, she shoots Stella dead. The truth is, Stella had been haunted by what she did all those years ago. The regrets, the guilt, the hallucinations, it was all eating her alive. That's why she did what she did. Because look, she had a loaded gun too. I could have reunited Belema with her father instantly. And when the Reverend saw it, he recognizes it as the same one he had given Belema's father all those years ago. Moments after they left, Kalu and Naomi arrive, and Celestine shows up too shortly after. He rushed to his mother, held her cold, lifeless body, and broke down before taking her with them. But here's the interesting thing. In the spirit realm, Mama sees Our Lady in Red, who reveals that she could bring Mama back to life so she could save her children herself and relieve Our Lady in Red from that duty. So with that, Mama comes back to life, convulsing and spitting out black liquid to the shock of Sting and Naomi. Meanwhile, Kalu was being attacked at home and kidnapped by Reverend's men. So now, Belema attempts the ritual again with leftover blood, but the stone refuses to crack. The ritual is failing and Scourge is beginning to para. Thinking Belema wanted to screw him over. See, according to their agreement, Belema would give him the spear after her revenge. But now, she has had her revenge without the spear. So Scourge is like, you're on your own, kilo, no kilo. You still have to give me my spear. In his infinite wisdom, Scourge decides the problem is simple. There's just not enough blood, and somehow they conclude that Dagogo is the perfect next sacrifice. Just as Belema is about to slit his throat, boom. Naomi and Sting burst in, firing bullets everywhere. At the same time, the Reverend has a realization, and it turns out he got it all wrong. The heart of the forest was never the forest itself. It was Stella all along, and the spear, it was buried right there in her parlor.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
The gunfire dies down and the brothers finally reunite. For a moment, everything seems fine, or so we think. The Reverend and Patrick head to Stella's house, dig up the floor, and retrieve the spear. Now, if you think about it, all that killing, it was totally unnecessary if the Reverend had just thought long and hard enough. Or maybe it was necessary, and only after the second ritual was completed did the stone reveal the location to him, just as Kalu had pointed out earlier. Either way, the spear is finally secured. Mama is alive and reunited with her sons. She tells them the full truth, how she summoned the mysterious woman to protect them and how abandoning them was the hardest decision of her life, but meant to keep them safe. Oh, here's the real issue. Because of the deal that brought her back to life, the Lady in Red will no longer protect them. So now, for maximum protection, Dagogo and Sting must be initiated to the Brotherhood. And just then, look at this one. Belema, she had managed to escape and was in disbelief to see Stella alive. It shocked you. Yeah, everyone wants to shoot her on sight, but Stella stops them. Not today. Her time will come. For now, the focus is on initiating the boys. Nice one. Look at Kachi, and they're allowed to go back to her mama. She's here joining them to take revenge for her friend. But Dagogo and Sting, the guests of honor, were nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, Kalu is taken to the Reverend, who wants him to activate the spear and finally achieve his lifelong dream, immortality and world domination. Kalu begins the process, but what the Reverend doesn't know is this. The spear chooses his master, and this time it chooses Kalu. With that power, Kalu kills everyone there, revealing that he too has always wanted the spear's power. The Reverend literally handed him his downfall on a platter. Just then, Stella's sons arrive. How they found the place, only God knows. But since they are here, Kalu shows off his new powers to them and kills Sting before walking away. Dagogo holds his brother tightly, crying. With the lady in red no longer protecting them, this could truly be the end for Sting. But then again, actor no dey die for fame. So, make we dey see. And with that, we've reached the end of The Covenant, directed by the late Oladimeji Ajibola, now streaming on Netflix. And that's a wrap for today's video. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, like, subscribe, and until next time on Worthy of Recap.